Hey everybody, welcome to Cockpit Convos. It's your captain speaking, Jeff Britton, and appreciate you tuning in. And today I'm real excited. I got a buddy of mine, JP the Man Mancini, in the plane with me today. Welcome to the cockpit, man.
How you doing, man?
I'm good. Appreciate you coming up. This is like the one that never happened, almost, man.
Yeah.
We've been punting this one a couple weeks, maybe a month or two.
Weather more than anything.
Yeah, and you get that being in the job the career we're talking about. You understand the weather, but real excited to have JP in the plane, and JP runs a really cool business. I've been stalking you online with that stuff, man. One day maybe be a customer too, but why don't you just kind of give everybody the JP Mancini story, man?
Oh yeah, I own CEO Luxury Boat Charters. We're based in essentially 4 states. We're expanding to Charleston this Q1 this coming year in 2026.
Cool.
But a little bit about me, I grew up in Virginia, down and over in Yorktown and Gloucester area, and went to high school at York High. Got out of high school around 18 years old. Ended up deciding to ended up being homeless for a period of time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I wasn't the best kid, and my parents were fed up with me, and they let me out to the wolves, and that was a wake up call. And got out of there and ended up had a couple jobs, but ended up working at Lowe's, and went from there to the military to sales, a bunch of different things I'd done. But I kind of started entrepreneurship when I was, I kind of had some basis when I was 13 years old. I was on eBay doing some. I went and got my mom's social security number and went and opened a bank account and stuff. Because at that time you could I guess get on eBay with a bank account in some way, shape, or form. And I was able to get on there, and I had a bank account in my name, and ended up setting an account up and was doing all this stuff. And I was selling stuff. I go and find stuff that was misspelt, like where somebody would sell something, and instead of a common spelling, it was something a letter off, or they would do it. And what happened on eBay at that time is they would, the item wouldn't show up. So instead of 10,000 people seeing it, maybe 50 people would see it. So I'd go and buy it, and then I would go and either resell it, or I would do some other stuff that I've ever done. But that's how it started, and I got offered a job at 15, by this company that did analyst research on products, what users that were selling above.
Okay.
If I sold the exact same product as anybody else, mine would command a 10 or 20% higher rating. And I ended up now obviously I couldn't do that. I wasn't even 18 years old at the time. Nobody knew that. My parents ended up catching me at I think 15, 16 years old. While we had dial-up at that time, and they go on the phone line and it's going off. And I was not allowed to be on the computer at the time, and huge things happened. But then went to Lowe's, was a customer service person. I work about 30 hours a week, and ended up actually selling more than the sales professional that was there. That's all he did. I was stocking, helping customers out, stuff like that, and that's really where my sales. I was like, man, I actually am really good at this.
Okay. Cool.
I was out selling with the top guy that's been there forever.
Right.
And ended up going to the military at 20. Got out at 25. Was one of the greatest things I did. It just gave me a lot of structure, a lot of things I needed as a person. And then ended up getting out of there and was trying to find a job in sales or cars. I was really passionate about cars. Okay. And applied at a couple places and ended up not getting an interview. And about 2 months later came back and applied again. And, I filled out the application and said, you ever applied here before? I said, nope. And ended up sitting in the lobby for probably 6 hours. They had forgotten about me.
Oh my gosh.
And finally the assistant came out, and she ended up talking to the manager and ended up getting an interview. And things I found out afterwards were, I had a really good conversation with the manager, but she went to the GM and was like, does he have any sales experience? And I technically didn't at the time. I had nothing on my resume I could say. Right. And he's like, well, I don't want to talk to him. And she's like, no. I really had a good, conversation with this guy. I really think he'd be a good asset. So she ends up, I end up getting an interview and ended up getting hired at Audi of Hampton, which is really hard to get.
Yeah, it's a nice
job
place.
at an Audi, a premium store like that.
Right.
And my first month, I started on the 2nd. I was in training in a classroom until the 14th. And on the 14th, I started selling and by the 30th, I was number 1.
So it's pretty tough to get a job at Audi, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a high line type thing, right?
Yeah.
And you did really good there.
Yeah, I did really well. Worked myself up from sales to ended up making GSM in a year and 3 months.
Wow.
They made GM and ended up running the store, and that was the second oldest dealership in Virginia, and I think the second oldest Mercedes-Benz dealership in North America.
Wow.
So really had good experience, but I had a great mentor. There was some really good mentors there. Mark Tysinger.
Okay, yeah, Tysinger, yeah.
He really was a great mentor. I had Bob Roms, who was another really good influence, and just great people around me that really shaped my ability to think and beyond just sales and business, but people and running and marketing and how you frame a deal and all these things that have really helped me out. And then I ended up Mark Tysinger sold his company, and about 2 months after that, I mean, it wasn't a good fit for me. It was obvious with this new company that came in, and ended up getting let go. Actually, got fired.
Oh,
and I was in the process of buying a new boat, a $500,000 boat, and I should have canceled the contract. My dad was like, you need to cancel that, and I could have. I wasn't under contract. I hadn't. We were just in negotiation at this point. I was, and we agreed on a price and everything. I was, I'm gonna follow through with it. And I said, the worst comes to worst, I'll sell it, and I'll probably get out what I bought it for because I got a good deal on it, and did that, and I was like, I'm gonna try chartering, full time. And I was like, ended up having my boat break down, and when I first bought it, the second day I had it, I maybe been on it for a couple hours. It broke down.
Oh,
I got stranded out in Key West, and I was like, what? Why don't I? So we got those issues fixed. I was like, what? It's cold back home. This is December. I think it's cold back home. Why don't I try, maybe chartering down in the Keys? I was like, I did the market analysis on it, and it was just perfect. I was primed for it, and did that, and it just took off. I mean,
really?
yeah.
So you live down there, or just the boat?
The boat was down there, and I was coming back and forth from Virginia to Key West.
Okay.
But I stayed down there for several months, and it was hard. I had a kid, and I had a girl at the time that the mother of my child, and it was really tough. And but we pushed through it, and then kind of history's wrote itself in that sense. And now we've expanded to 13 different cities. We've got many assets under management or that I own, and really taking that off. And I've learned a lot of stuff. Now I'm in this this mode of learning all the other intricacies.
There you go, man. Yeah, man. I got you, dog.
Yeah, right. That you deal with owning a business. But I think that's been the best blessing is just the knowledge that I've been able to come up with, and whether it's marketing or software systems and stuff you need for business and all these other things that nobody teaches you and a degree won't teach you. It's really really helped me out. So
hard knock stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm fascinated by that. So you said, okay, I'm gonna get a fancy boat. Bought a fancy boat. Hey, let's charter this boat. Now, are you the boat captain too, or were the boat captain at that time?
No, so the boat captain, the charters I run based on laws, similar to aircraft, there's different type of charter laws.
Okay.
And the type of charter that I run, and I have to run that way. I can't run as a UPV uninspected or an inspected passenger vessel due to it being a foreign flag vessel. So I have to run a certain type of charter, and it basically ends up being that the charterer, the person that rents the boat out, is basically under control of the vessel. They choose the itinerary, they choose it, which, any of the highline stuff is, if you rented a yacht or you rented a, like a boat like mine, which is like a mini yacht, it's, people want to do what they want to do.
Yeah.
And we don't want to dictate. If we were running dolphin tours, that's different.
Right.
And that's not the boat we're going to run, but we want a boat that really you can do anything and everything with.
Sure.
And that's essentially what we specialize in, is just trying to get people on board and tailor the experience to them.
Right.
And we've done everything. I mean, we just did a wedding on the boat. I mean, we had an officiant on the boat.
That's cool.
We spread ash. I mean, things that you would never think of, camping. Things that you would never think of. And then obviously all the normal stuff, sandbars and fun in the sun, and anniversary dinners and birthdays that people are doing. It's honestly rewarding to see how many people's lives you can touch and getting just it's like that saying. You ever seen somebody with a frown on a jet ski? You never seen somebody, mad on a jet ski. You just don't.
Right,
Same way with a boat, man. It just, it's unless you got a problem, that's the only time. But
that's cool.
it's a cool way to experience and be a part of people's lives.
Now, your hard knocks of what you've learned through that space, I guess you've got it down to a pretty good system now.
Yeah.
If you you look at a boat and say, it's a $450,000 asset, it's this, I can probably generate this many rentals off of it, this much revenue, yada, 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 right?
Yeah, I've got all that down. The area really makes a big difference.
Okay.
Yeah, the big part of it, the first element is the asset itself. This is what 98% of people get wrong, is the asset. It's like a plane. You got to charter a plane now. You got to find the right plane. There's all these other factors.
Yeah, the mission.
Maintenance. All these things. Yeah, what can it sell? And people that are renting boats out, they don't understand. A lot of times, like for instance, like a regulator, which is a super nice boat, and it costs let's say one that costs $500,000 or $350,000 is actually a better number. There's another boat that looks almost identical to it that's $150,000. So to the normal eye, the normal person, they have no idea. It's like a Cirrus compared to certain,
100%,
But that's the thing that people get wrong the most is definitely the asset, and then the second thing is the location. That's the second thing they get wrong. Those are two biggest things.
Yeah.
And then everything else. There's probably 100 other factors that are very important. Whether it's the captains, having a list of captains.
Right.
Where you put the part of the type of charters you can run, all these things that come into play. The software systems, all that stuff come into play. But it really makes a difference where those two big things that you choose, and those are the main things.
I mean, I've never been on one, but I see them on Insta and your page, and my buddy Brett Kyle. You know Brett?
Who?
Brett Kyle. You know Brett?
Yes.
Yeah, he's a legacy guy.
Yeah, legacy. Yep.
I see him advertising, and I think you've got these type of yachts. It's kind of like almost a square with a point on it with a big.
Yeah, it's like a cap. It's almost like you ever seen a Coast Guard boat?
Yeah.
Which is like, it's honestly awful to compare it to that, but it's called a pilot house. You've got
they're cool looking boats.
Yeah, you almost got like a living room or a space inside that's luxurious, and then you have the outside spaces that are luxurious as well. And it really we call it the Swiss Army knife of boats, because you can the things that you can do with it. I don't check the weather. I don't need to check the weather.
Wow.
I don't, if the weather's bad, I know it's bad. I mean, I can look outside and, it's something that we can't handle. If it rains, if it's cold out, you can turn the heat on. If it's hot out, you turn the AC on. It doesn't get better.
That's awesome.
Than what you could do.
And how many of those type of boats do you have?
Those, I have 6 of them currently. Yep.
Wow.
That I own directly.
So now to your point, the comment about owning directly, what if I had a boat and said, hey man, can you charter this thing for me?
That's where the other, we have partnerships. Yeah, we have partnerships, and a lot of times people, what we found is we've had different partnerships, and I've got one that that's about making money, and we're working on that now.
Right.
But the thing we've realized, we partner with a lot of people, but the people that make the most sense is the guys that they own a boat, they want to offset the cost of it.
Right.
They're not looking to necessarily turn this into a business because it's not very lucrative for me. At 50% or 60%, even 70%, and it's not very lucrative for them at 50%. When it comes to a business actually making money, but when we've done it, because it does help out with scalability. But where really people makes a lot of sense, other than some exclusions where certain markets where we can go into, is somebody wants to buy the boat, they want to own it, they want to have it, they want to use it, but they're going to use it a few times a month, several times times a week, but they want to charter it as well. And we partner with some owners that we've taken their asset under management, and basically we tell them, hey, we have a calendar, a shared calendar. They know what charters are coming in. They say, hey, I want to use the boat this time. They mark it off. If they end up wanting to, if they always have access to the boat.
Sure,
as it is.
Their boat.
The only time that we make an exception is, it's like, hey, if somebody books the boat and they say, hey, I want to take it out on Saturday, well, we've already got booked, and they didn't let us know, then obviously that would be a conflict of interest, and very, very, very easy way of doing it to where it's just, it really rewards the owner, really collaborative, and they can use the boat anytime they want to. I think we've had one person ever that that wanted to take the boat. They call them and they're like, "Hey, is there any way we can take the boat out during the day?" I was like, "Well, we got to charter that day." This was like 48 hours out before their charter, and they ended up going out that evening, but they wanted to take it out during the day. But it's very rare. They know the schedule. They use it. They decide they want to take it out. They got something planned or family coming in. They're able to do it. But that's a great way for people to partner with our company as well. So
that's cool. Now, what's your long-term goal? You want to have like 50 boats and 4 people working under you? Because you're probably, how many people you have working for you? Not the captains, like you running the business.
Two people. And then if you factor in the captains, they're not employed by me, but they're they are.
They're on the team.
Yeah, they're on the team. They're on the team. We have vetted captains that are trained and proficient that have, that we trust. You got to have trusted people. One, for the safety of the guests, but also for somebody operating a $500,000 asset.
Sure.
But long term, I think long term for me is I want to be in the. If you took 100 people and you said, "Hey, where would you want to go boat in the United States?" Or even the territories.
Right.
And basically, 80 out of that 100 are going to say the same thing.
Sure.
Miami, Lake of the Ozarks,
Keys,
etc. I want to be in those 80. The 80 people that said those locations, the common ones. I want to be in there for the boats, and then I'm already honestly at phase 1 of my plan. I've got about 2 more boats I need to get, and I think I'll actually be finished with phase 1 of my of what my long-term goal is. Phase 2, phase 3, and phase 4. But is to get real estate. So have property. For instance, in Key West, I'm paying $2,000, over $2,000 a month for a slip.
Oh wow.
That's more than my mortgage.
Right.
To put in perspective. And I live on the water.
Sure. Yeah. Nice place.
Nice place, and it's But the idea is to have a rental. To get into the real estate aspect of it, but also have a dock that we can have the boat at. And that also offsets the cost there as well.
Right.
And then the third element is actually going to be aircraft.
Okay, here we go now.
To get to the plane space.
Okay.
And basically have the company's grand vision is to be able to have for the ultra rich to be able to have boat charter. They rent out a house. We fly them out. They've got a car. They've got a place to stay. They've got they got a chef. Obviously, they're add-ons. They got a boat that they can take out that they can use a couple of days. We'll plan out. But basically, a package for the ultra wealthy.
Sure.
Or even independently. Even a car we could Uber. Turo out. We could do all these things. But all these things could come together. And basically, the other thing is you understand this. Having a plane is a luxury. And having a boat. Having the things I've been blessed with are just, through God has been, incredible.
That's awesome.
And to be able to have, even my job, it's, to be on a boat, when I'm working, half the time I'm on a boat, it's like, it's nothing better. So,
I'm on a boat.
Yeah, getting to be able to do that and really, that's even better than a plane in some ways. The plane takes you places, but the actual being a part of the plane, being on the boat, is just fun. You
can't park the plane and hang out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're not having a party back here. You're not drinking, that's for sure.
Definitely not drinking. 8 hours bottle to throttle rule, baby. So well, that's so now the other 2 assets you want, are they the same type you already have, or you want to like get in a pontoon?
Yeah. All the boats are the same. I own the same boat. Now, if somebody came to me and said, "Hey, I've got we're going to probably get into the luxury to the yacht space here," and I do have one idea that's going to go in one city. That I've got an idea that's really something I really want to do.
Okay.
That's like a bonus, and that nobody's doing. Okay. And it's in the worst market you could ever put a boat, but it's the best market. The reason it's the best is because nobody's thought about what I'm thinking about doing.
Okay.
But I've got a couple ideas from there. But if somebody wanted to come in and say, "Hey, I've got this, this boat, etc." Somebody said they wanted to put a pontoon. That's not our brand.
Right.
And we're trying to stick to our brand. I've got some other things working from a couple other companies that I'm in process right now, actually, of. That will come into play, but
I got to mention, man, the brand. I love CEO.
Yeah.
And for y'all not paying attention, it's SEA-EO, CEO. That's pretty cool. What's the EO stand for?
It was just
the CEO
it was just like the
sure.
CEO. This we call ourselves the CEO of the seas.
Okay.
We own the seas, so
that's good. Man.
No, it's like Millionaire. I think that's the most, the private airplane company. Millionaire is I think that is the coolest name because it describes the brand. It's cool. It's
It's almost like a cult thing where the pilots, they take a picture of him in front of Millionaire, in front of the sign and stuff. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is.
That's awesome. Well, so then, do you travel yourself a lot to these locations where the boats are?
Yeah. So I'm always traveling. I'm usually once a month. I'm on a plane going to some of the locations.
Got it.
We've got partners in the area. I've got a good team of mechanics and servicemen that really help us out.
Okay.
And that's been a blessing. And the captains have even helped. They take care of the boats. They clean it up, and their responsibilities from the people that hire them or they select them. Their responsibility to clean the boat up, make sure it's good, and they really take care of the assets that we have. And I very rarely have problems.
Okay.
The biggest problem is when we have an issue. The boat's foreign made, so getting some of the parts is hard sometimes. And we had a cushion that took 9 months to get a cushion. So you have things, some other problems that you can have happen, but
man, you can almost raise the sheep and share the wool and do it yourself in 9 months, dude.
Well, that's what we've started to do. I actually, funny story. We were trying to that same cushion that took my 9 months. We were looking at getting. We had another one that we needed to replace, and they were also quoting us like a crazy number for the cost, and it was going to take a while. And I was like, you know what? I need to find this fabric, and usually the manufacturers will do. They'll have a fabric that's just it's a variant of the other one, so that way you can't outsource it somewhere else. And they ended up, I was like, I'm going to find this. So I ended up going, and I ended up doing some, I used, from AI to all these other aspects I followed, but I deep researched and found and tried to find these companies that had this particular product, and I was able to find it. Well, the company's over in Germany or somewhere, and they don't speak English. So I sent them an email in, the language that whatever they spoke, and was like, hey, I need this shipped to the United States. Can you do this? Da da da. And was able to actually get this, this product, this fabric sent over to us within a week's time frame.
Oh my gosh!
So my upholsterer guy was able to do it, but it was just funny because if you knew the
intricacy. That's your challenge word,
right?
Man.
Like,
That's
cool.
your word, man.
That I had, in doing that, and all the steps I had to take and all the things and translate. I mean, it was just, and ended up getting it back and forth between the people, and they ended up paying customs and doing some stuff, but we were able to get it. And
that's cool. Cool.
Once you get in business, that you start learning these little things that really start to help you out and make a difference. And
it sounds like you got a cool business, and it sounds like you haven't worked a day in your life relative to this. It sounds like you're having fun, man. Right? You love what you do. You never work a day in your life.
The military was a different story.
Sure. That's different. That's different.
Those were tough days, but
I'm talking about what you're currently doing. You're not really working.
And sales, man. I really, working for Audi and having Mercedes and Hyundai there was just. It was a great brand to work for, great people to work for, probably some of the best. And I'm still in contact with all the people that I was that I employed, and they all talk about the good old days. That was and they're still, most of them are still in the automotive industry, and they wish they could go back to us. They took it for granted. I always told them, like, guys, you got to do, and they always took it for granted. They're like, man, this new boss of mine or this new, you have no idea. We had it so good. I apologize that. I did you this way. I made your life hell for these, these certain days. So.
I'm sure it was fine. So then, all right. So how do people find you? They want to? That sounds cool. Let me rent a boat from this guy.
So online is we have obviously all these channels. We're on probably 40 different channels, but it's all online based. We don't have a physical store anywhere. We have where the boat's at, obviously, but we don't have a physical location. And that's something that maybe can in the future maybe we could see, but. That's where, that's another space. And, we do have partners, though. We have, some desks and hotels. We're partnered with some of the, top hotels in the world, actually. I mean, there's one that it's like been named one of the top 10 hotels in the world. I mean,
Sweet.
It's where, like, Scarlett Johansson and other people, celebrities, you can't have your phone there and stuff like that because it's that, it's $5,000, $6,000 a night.
Wow.
But a lot of people find us online. Our website's sea-eo.com. sea-eo.com, and that's our main website. That's our direct. But there's a bunch of other partners. I mean, there's these great platforms like Get My Boat or Boat Setter or Anchor Rides or
like
the
Ubers for boats.
Yeah, either Ubers for boats, and they put together. Great thing about Boat Setter, for instance, one of them is they connect all these other brands together. So both commercial operators, regular people like yourself, if they own the boat, they could do like an Uber type.
Right.
They do a lot of, we have great partners in our space, and shout out to Boat Setter, shout out to Get My Boat, shout out to the Anchor Rides.
Cool, man.
There's a lot of people that we've partnered with, our concierge departments that have really, everybody we work together so well together, and part of it's we really believe in commission and paying the people that pay us. So
right.
We really try to take care of it from, we even our captains in Key West we're out there. Y'all need to be charging this much. I mean, we were elevating the pay out there for the guys because they work hard, man.
Right. Yeah.
We don't set the captain. They come together the captains accumulated come together in a market and say, hey, this is what it's important to raise that because they really do work, man. They work hard. So.
Yeah, man. And they have to deal with the customers sometimes too.
Yes.
Right? It could be some demanding people.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying all y'all are demanding people. I'm just saying the potential's there.
Especially in the
affluent markets.
Yeah, in the luxury space, it's.
Yeah.
But the one thing, man, I've always learned is, they always say the customer's always right. That's a lot of people always say that stuff, and I couldn't believe. I can't think of something farther from the truth.
Agreed.
Because it's the customer's always right. The reason that people say that or somebody says that is because they failed. Either the company, they didn't set the right expectations, they didn't put the right communication involved, something along those lines. The customer's always right. Because otherwise, granted, we have times all the time where we make mistakes where, we always say we're not a perfect organization. We never will be. We're human. But one thing we'll do is we'll own up to it. And I really believe how a company when they know of a problem, when a company knows of a problem, how they respond to it is everything.
Sure.
And I think, we have stuff. We had a brand new boat. I'm talking about the boat was 2 weeks old, and the toilet had an O-ring that broke.
Okay.
And the people are all, they're all upset about it. The toilets, the bathroom's broken on it, and they're right though. I mean, it's nothing. That's just part of the business. I'm not upset at them.
Right.
But the customer's always right. That's a cop out for a lot of people to just be able to say, hey, I failed. And any time that I've ever had a situation that where I say that the customer's right, because what it is he said, she said.
Sure.
Where it's something that we thought this. Well, I rather than channel my energy on something that's not going to give me anything, being bitching or being upset, at them, all this customers, this and this. I just go, you know what? I was like, okay, I focus all my energy into how do I prevent this from ever happening again.
Right.
And I mean, I could give you 1,000 examples of this, but
sure.
every time we have it happen and we don't have it happen again.
Right.
Because I just find I build a process or I build, it's funny. Where most people couldn't put the energy in that. I'm like, dude, I'm not ever dealing with a customer because I've had some customers that are just really unreasonable,
Right.
that are really, really tough to deal with.
Sure.
And, I think I've fired 1 or 2 customers ever.
Oh, wow.
In any business. So.
Got it.
Yeah, but you have some people that are tough, man. That they're tough or their expectations. They don't read things.
Got it.
They don't,
It's like an Airbnb.
Yeah.
I mean, Companies are going to kind of jack that up.
Yeah, I mean, I got to call a guy today. He was out this past weekend and he rented a boat from us and he wanted to do a specific activity. And we had 2 boats in this area right now. They're identical boats. One's my oldest boat. It's got. It's like an old airplane. It's older. It's not.
Right.
It's a good boat. It's when people get on it, it's a nice boat.
It ain't a Tesla,
but it's not brand new. We've reconditioned it, and it'd be hard to tell. But if you put these 2 boats together, you would go, wow, this other one's got a lot more options. It's just a nicer boat. But also, he wanted to fish off the back of it. He wanted to bring us poles, and he wanted to fish. So it made more sense. Well, the boat they're identical boats. One is blue though. One is white, and we put them on the blue boat, which is a nicer, brand new boat. It's 2 months old. Got all these options. Better for what they want to do. And we end up taking them out. And they end up leaving us a 1-star or 2-star review.
Oh, come on, man.
And I mean, I have maybe 3 reviews ever that have been less than 5 stars.
Right.
And he goes, next time, the boat, make sure the boat's white. And it's the cruiser as we selected, or the boat that they selected.
Right.
Well, he doesn't realize it's the same exact boat. The boat that the only difference is the color. you know, in the blue boat's a way better looking boat. I mean, way better looking boat. That paint job alone is $20,000-$25,000 for you to get, and everybody sees that boat and it's nicer. You know, but you deal with clients like that, and it's a lot of times it's just a misunderstanding, or you know. But we should have, as a company, you know, now that I've learned my lesson here, is I don't blame him. I should have said, hey, we're actually going to put you on. It's an identical boat. He would have known it was an identical boat, and hey, it's a blue instead of white. Obviously, we can put you on a boat, but we think this boat will be a little bit better for you guys, and they'd probably appreciate it rather than them thinking they're getting gypped from, because that nothing makes me, you know, I've rented boats before, and you go out there and it's the boat in the pictures is not the boat that you got.
Right.
And it was just a failure on our part. So, you know, you learn from stuff like that. It's just, you know, that's what it's about.
Yeah. So now, you got your contact info. Go on your website, then go on these boat apps and rent your boats out. And so where's your next trip? Where are you going to now?
So I got to get down to the Keys soon. We got to take in the wintertime. We take a lot of the assets, and we take them from Virginia, you know, for instance, or South Carolina, et cetera, and we'll bring them down south to Florida. Particularly the Keys, and some of the warmer markets that we can make money.
Cool, man.
You know, throughout the year, because otherwise you have a dead season here. You know, once November hits, it really starts to, it gets cold, and people don't want to be on a boat. You know, we're going to expand the season here. We're going to start doing some things where we'll start to advertise where people can bring, you know, they can go fishing, they can go rock fishing on the boat. If they like to do that, or they can do a dinner cruise where
sunset cruise. Yeah,
sunset cruise. I mean, during the winter you got a heated cabin and stuff. Even if it's cold, it's a great way to go on a date or an anniversary or something like that. But
cool.
Yeah, we're going to try to expand, because the problem is, you know, once you get a certain amount of assets, you can't, you know, one market we don't need, you know, 5 boats in one place. You know, the market doesn't demand it. So you just got boats sitting there. But, and, you know, there was only a few places that you really can, you know, do all year long charters that are just not affected by weather. Even Tampa gets cold in that January time frame. So,
well, that's cool, man. Congratulations on your success. I think it's awesome, man. You took this idea, you took a risk, a big risk when you bought that first boat, man. And now that you've got replicated it, and you're killing it. And, man, I think it's great. Maybe one day I'll be on your boat with you.
A lot of people don't understand the work. I mean, they see me now. And there was a period of time where, you know, an article came out about me and stuff like that, they told how much I was making, which I hated, because I didn't know they were going to do that. And nobody knew how much I was making at the time. And they ended up, you know, they talked about it. I was only working about 30 minutes a day because everything was just running, and automations and everything else like that. And, you know, but now, you know, I've got some employees under me that really help me out and stuff. And I don't work, I mean, compared to what I was working before and in the military, I mean, I was working 110 hours, you know, 2 weeks out of every month in the military. And I was working, you know, 70, 80, 90 hours at the dealership, you know, putting in time. And, you know, now it's a lot better. My life's a lot better. My quality of life, I'm able to spend time with my son, et cetera.
Cool, man.
And, but people don't, you know, they think it's easy. They think I got it easy, but what they didn't realize is all the work that I took.
Oh, yeah, dude.
You know, up until I was, you know,
nobody gets that.
You know, until I really, when I left out, I mean, all the work that I did, whether it was even my Instagram, I always talk about, you know, I always ask people, what does your Instagram feed look like, you know, or your Facebook feed? What is it showing you for your page? And, you know, most of the people, it's their, you know, it's their passions.
Oh,
or it's girls on their page or whatever it is. And, you know, if you looked at mine for most of my life, it was business, it was money, it was, you know, so, you know, and while people are watching Netflix at home, they go home and they watch Netflix. I'm on the online, you know, looking at something that was education in some way, shape, or form.
Sure.
You know, something I would get obsessed with, and that's why when I was able to, you know, start this business, I was, you know, whereas most businesses, they are not instantly successful like I was, and I attribute that to all the education and time and dedication I did before I ever owned my business, and the risk ended up being a lot easier. I still deal with risk. I mean, I'm sure you can appreciate that, but it's tough, man.
Yeah, it is, man. It is. Well, I'm proud of you. I'm glad to get to know you, man.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I love meeting successful hustlers. You're a hustler.
I try to be.
That's the deal, man. Straight hustler. Well, cool, man. Well, I appreciate you coming up today, and everybody check him out. Now, have you ever watched the end of this, how we sound these things off?
Oh.
Okay, so I'm over 1, 2, 3, and we're going to go see you.
See you. All right.
2 fingers up right there. Appreciate you checking in with us today. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit JP up if you want to rent one of his boats. And with that, man, we'll sign this thing off. You ready? 1, 2, 3. See ya!